Damn, Seattle.
You must be, I mean, because you're here, right? You feel tremors. They happen all the time, right? I've only had a few times when I felt tremors.
Not all the time. I've felt them before. The biggest ones I ever felt was when I first moved here. I first moved here in '94, and it was right after the Northridge earthquake. Yeah. And I was in my house, and I felt, I guess it was like a 5.5, where the whole thing just... It was weird.
Yeah.
It gave me the impression that the house that I was living in, or the apartment that I was in, was made out of the same stuff, like a box that a refrigerator would come in. Yeah. You know how you kind of move it around?
Yeah, you can go and play inside. Yeah.
The whole thing was just moving like easily left and right. I was like, holy shit.
Well, that was I've only had a few times that I've, felt on it. I'm like, it's at first I thought it was a truck. I thought a truck was rolling by. Yeah. And I'm like, and somebody's like, no, man, that was an earthquake.
And the one that I experienced was nothing. I mean, it's a baby one. The ones that they're getting, right now, somewhere in the world, I mean, there's always something that's like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah. So this goes back to your point about the, a lot of planets, right, will be like way more plate tectonically active.
Volatile.
Yeah, than ours. So, I think good planets are going to be like really hard to find.
Yeah.
So, that may be the solution. The other solution is, the way you guys found out about it was I did that article about the previous civilization. How do you know whether or not there was a previous civilization on Earth? And, one solution could be that, look, they were here. That somebody did arrive and spent some time on Earth. But if it was like 500 million years ago and they only lasted, right, every civilization has a finite lifetime. If they only lasted for, even a few 100,000 years, they wouldn't leave. There'd be no record left.
There would be nothing left.
There'd be nothing left.
Do you think that's possible, that something's ever visited here? And because that is the big question, and that's the thing that gets the UFO dorks more jazzed up than anything is the possibility that we've been visited.
Yeah, I'm definitely not UFOs. I have two arguments against UFOs. One is as a friend of mine, Jason Wright, says, is like, look, as astronomers, man, we're finding all those asteroids. We're finding little chunks of rock moving. Nobody looks at the sky harder than we do, right? And if anything, unless you want to go to the conspiracy theories, we would have found something. My other argument is like, what's with the headlights? You know what I mean? People are always like, oh man, I saw lights in the sky and then they moved around and then they disappeared. But they don't really want to be seen. I'm like, well, why do they have headlights on? Like, why just turn off the freaking lights?
Why would they have lights in the first place?
Why do they have lights? And like, what? You came from another civilization and you can't get around without your high beams?
The idea is, what the fuck are you seeing with those lights?
Right.
You're not seeing shit.
Yeah, right.
When was the last time you saw, planes have lights so other planes don't run into them. They don't have lights so they can see where they're going.
Yeah, so what? So why do they have, right, exactly. Yeah. The planes have lights so other people can see them. So if they're here, but they're mysterious, they don't want to be found, then turn off the freaking lights. So,
they wouldn't have any lights. Right. Yeah, they always have lights.
Yeah,
that's
true. That's it. People are always saying like, oh man, I saw lights in the sky, and then they move back and forth. And so I just think
also the problem with human memory. Memory is horrible.
Yeah,
and memory of events that are stunning, or shocking, or unnerving, or you think you saw something.
Right. They've done all that research, even in trials, right, where people see things. So just UFOs. I'm just kind of like,
but. Do you think it's possible that there could be life on other planets, and it's possible that there could be intelligent life on other planets, and we send probes to Mars? Why wouldn't? And I think that if they do send something here, they're going to send something without biological life inside of it.
Yeah, this. What's a really interesting question is like, we're talking about like what will we evolve into in a million years. It may be possible that biology is a short period of intelligence.
Yeah,
like you build machines, and the machines become either you download yourself into them. I mean, that's a real possibility that silicon makes a lot more sense than wetware.
Well, the problem is we think of artificial intelligence as artificial.
Right.
It's definitely real.
Right. Yeah, no, that's exactly
it. It's not fake. It's right there.
Right.
It's like there's artificial milk. You know what I mean? But it's a liquid. It's an actual liquid.
Yeah.
There's not an artificial life. It's just silicon created life.
Right. And that's, again, the idea that the biosphere, this may be what the biosphere solution to spreading itself, to getting it, maybe that, silicon, that's a kind of a normal phase. I mean, I am super skeptical about the whole transhuman thing about we're going to download ourselves into into computers.
Have you ever gone to one of those conventions and talked to those dorks?
No, there's some pretty serious dorking going on there.
Well, there's geniuses in those dorks too. It's really interesting. It's like they're wholly committed to this prospect of downloading themselves. Have you talked to Kurzweil before?
No, but I've read his stuff.
I had a chance to interview him a few years back for Sci-Fi.
He's super smart. That dude is
beyond
super smart.
But goddamn, is he committed to it? And then when you get to it, you realize that what he actually wants to do is recreate his father. Yeah, his father died when he was young, and he wants to be able to, through memories and photographs and what he knows about his father, literally recreate his father be able to have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
He was talking about this.
Right.
But what he's doing is he's going way, way into the future, into the possibilities of. He's not seeing like, well, 5 years from now we're going to be able to send gigabyte pictures through the mail. No, he's saying, let's think of if you keep going exponentially and electronics and technology and innovation keeps continually accelerating, we could potentially get to the point where it's the impossible. Well, you would be able to recreate human beings based on your knowledge of them, and they'll be able to come up with some sort of a program where he'll be able to have a conversation with his father.
Yeah, see, I think that I think it's true about like the possibility of a singularity in technological development, but it's not going to be his father. That's the sad thing. You know, I think we seriously, I've done some work on this as an interest of mine about mind. What is mind? And what's the relationship between mind and matter? And I think we have like a serious misunderstanding. We don't understand consciousness very well at all. So the idea that like, oh yeah, it's just gonna be trivial to download your consciousness into a computer, I think it's pretty, there's like a shitload of assumptions in there about like what mind is and the relationship between like your neurons and, awareness. Yeah. So that's why I think those guys, it's a little bit of a religion. You know what I mean? So
it is a little bit of a religion.
We will transcend and, so it's like.
Well, 2045 is the new benchmark for whatever reason. That's the new number.
They're going to keep pushing it back. It's going to be like every other, every other rapture. Oh, we thought it was 2045. We really meant 2065, Well,
we went to this 2045 conference, me and my friend Ari and Duncan, and we got to talk to some of these guys, and it was really fascinating. And one of them had created some robot that was supposed to be him, but it didn't work well, so they never revealed it at the conference. It had too many bugs in it.
Yeah.
But it's intriguing. It's like I want them to keep going. Because, I mean, when are we going to get to Ex Machina? When are we going to get
to... Talk about good movies, though. Did you like that
one?
One
of my favorite movies ever.
So smart. So, like simple. He's not beating you over the head with it. It's
no
just
cut the shit moments in that movie.
Yeah, no.
You were like, whoa. The entire... I think that's one of my all-time top 20 movies.
When she stabs him, just emotionless. Just like, I'm putting the blade in.
It was amazing. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, right. Did you like Annihilation?
Yes.
I liked it a lot too.
I didn't like it as much, but I liked it. It was very weird. And the ending seemed like some producers put their jizz in the soup. It's just like,
back to panspermia.
Yeah, what's happening here? Who made this part?
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah. So I think and the danger with anything when it comes to AI and stuff. So here's an interesting thing about AI. Like we are making amazing strides with AI.
Yeah.
Now artificial intelligence is different from artificial consciousness, you know what I mean? So but the AI that, what we're getting out of it is nothing like us, right? So back in the day where people were like, oh, we're going to like model the human brain and that's how we'll do it. We'll like make programs that are what they've learned is like, oh, that doesn't really work that well. So now the whole big data thing, like, network theory and big data and deep learning, where like, they're using statistical, the power of having huge amounts of computing and statistical reasoning so that like, the computer, like, it'll find the picture of the cat, but you have no idea why it found the picture. It didn't reason like, oh yeah, that sort of looks like a cat and I like cats. It was just like, oh, these kinds of lines go with that kind of thing. It has no idea what it's doing, but it'll act intelligently. And so that's, that's kind of freaky deaky in a lot of ways too. I think I think it's smart to think about the dangers of AI, not necessarily when it takes over.
The dangers to us.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the dangers. Just the dangers to this thing that we are, this weird monkey thing.
Yeah.
That wants to keep being a monkey thing.
Yeah. Well, you mean in the sense of like, that it's going to replace us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's inevitable. I mean, don't you think that if you go back and interview the single-celled organism before it branched off into multi-celled,
that'd be kind of a boring interview.
Fuck this multi-celled bullshit. I want to stay a single cell at the bottom of the ocean.
These guys are assholes, man, with their rock and roll music.
They're going to make cars. Fuck that. I don't want a car, man. I like staying down here.
Yeah.
Like there's a real thought to that we are the wetware that is the problem.
Yeah. No. Listen, I think. It's fully conceivable. Like, I'm not going to be like, it'll never happen. But as a guy knows, a philosopher says, there's a certain way in which everything we do with AI right now, it's not like, Watson is playing chess. It's like we're using Watson to play chess. It's our tool, And I think the fear is the tool gets out of hand. Not that it like develops a thing where like, I hate humans, Dad, I hate you. But more that it's like, these things which are not actually thinking, they act intelligent, but they're not thinking, can have a huge, like, it'll have a really negative impact. It'll what is it? There's that example of like if you design something that is an AI system to make paper clips, it ends up consuming the entire planet making paper clips because that's what you told it to do.
Right. You never told it to make a sustainable amount of paper clips.
Right. Exactly. So I'm more worried about that than I am of like Skynet, coming over and like, deciding that it's going to, drop all the bombs on us because it needs to get rid of us.
Well,